And through my awakening process, I had to face the most challenging thing, and that was cutting ties with those who was once important to me, and just walking away with my personal freedom from that control that they still had on me from playing victim, which made me fall victim into my feelings. Like I said, so this morning I had to free myself from all the shame and guilt that was brought on to me after realizing that I should quit apologizing to people for the way that they treated me. For example, I found myself apologizing to some people that did not deserve it. In fact, I was there for so many people. There were people that I welcomed in my home. A lot of people I welcomed in my home for a place to live. A lot of people who had children I welcomed in my home with a place to live. I've even left a home for someone and their family before jumping out on faith to Tennessee. And I've even left everything that I owned from Tennessee to my neighbor. I also had the gift to cure people in a nursing home. In fact, there was a resident that I took care of, and when I met her, she was about 76 pounds, and she wouldn't eat. She would just drink Ensure in this first assisting living home that I worked in. So, I was excited. This was my dream to just use my gift to help people, because that's just what my calling is, and which led me to be a big people pleaser. But to move on, this certain resident, she wasn't doing well. She was getting weaker and weaker, and it wasn't looking good. So, the other aides wouldn't take time with her. They would just let her sip a drink or two, and that was it. But because I took time to work with her and explain to her the risk of what could happen if she didn't eat, and that she was important to me and meant a lot to me, she began to agree to eat the half of this banana I would offer her every day that she would reject. But this time she said, okay. And she ate the banana, and she ate half of it. And she said, that's good. And so the next day I gave her half of a sandwich. And then before I knew it, which in fact one day I was wheeling 2 residents down for lunch, and I had noticed this resident walking on her walker, something that she was not able to do anymore. And I had asked her, hey, what's going on? Where are you going? And she's like, I'm hungry. And so, I guided her down to the dining room, where then not even the nurses or the aides could really believe what was going on, and that she was literally walking and eating on her own, being very independent from then. And also, I would always enjoy just using my own money to, buy pizza for my residents so they can enjoy the Super Bowl or, the Cincinnati Reds game. And I would always have about 20-something people to take care of on my hall alone, with getting them showers, books, doing their laundry, catering their meals to them. I did it all at once, had my charting done and everything on time before it was time for me to leave. Like, God blessed me with so much energy that I would use it and just play a game with my energy and just love what I'm doing, because that's what set my heart. I had always dreamed to help people, and this was my chance. So, I nursed her back to life, and because I did, a lot of residents start to look for me to help with their families, and a lot of people in a nursing home start respecting me. A lot of residents started remembering me, and most residents didn't even remember people or even care to remember them once they left from a job and came back. But once they see me, they like, can you come back? So that meant a lot to me and let me know that I was a great person. And some people didn't make me feel that way that I felt should have made me felt that way. And sometimes I would even use my money to purchase Oreos and, just smash them up, make Oreo milkshakes. And me and some residents who weren't able to take care of themselves and, were in wheelchairs, I would wheel them outside and we would just eat, Oreo milkshakes, popcorn, chips, and we'd have drinks out there while listening to Elvis Presley on my phone and just enjoying the sun. So I really loved my residents and I treated them well because I understood, the empathy of them not being able to care for themselves anymore. And for those who wanted to take care of their husbands themselves that wasn't really able to, I would let them do as much as they could for, their spouses, for their husbands, and I would just stand by to just give them, the feel of that independence of still knowing how to take care of their husband while explaining to them that, I would have to take over because it was something that my job required as a safety, so I let them do the best they could before I would take over. And I enjoy doing every bit of it for $8.25. And that includes personal care because although some people, like I said, don't appreciate, which those people were not my residents, but because I had a pure heart and I just loved what I was doing and I loved my calling and not something that was just considered a job, I put all my effort into every last $8.25 worth of it because I knew that God would carry me the rest of the way, something that He was also doing. A lot of people that I was just giving my heart to that really didn't deserve it, like people I was giving rise to that later disrespected me, or people who disrespected me that I later, forgave and still reacted out of love to. Like one time, for example, a person who disrespected me, we had worked together and it was like 100 degrees when we had got off of work. It was so hot and they didn't have a ride home, and because she was so beautiful even as a person, even though her intentions wasn't good, I couldn't let her walk home like that. So I said, come on honey, just get in the car and I'll take you home. And as she tried to apologize, I just told her, I forgive you, I understand, everybody needs time to grow. Some people learn, and we just kind of dropped it because I knew deep down that although her intentions weren't good, she was a great person. And although, and there were good people, like a very special great friend of mine. Me and her, we were at rock bottom, struggling, and we both had the same amount of children. I think she had one more than me, and we were like both in a crisis, and I offered for, her child to stay with me and my children because I was a little more fortunate, and she was uncomfortable with it, but I was like, what, all our boys are the same size, they could share clothes, don't you worry about it, like I understand. And she was like, okay. So she agreed, and you know, and in return, she was a beautiful person to make sure, you know, she offered us meals, and she like, that's it, I'm gonna get you groceries. And she got us groceries even though I didn't want the groceries, because it really wasn't a big thing. But because of her pure heart and her honesty and just kindness of being pure, you know, we helped uplift each other out of this situation. And although we were having these challenges, there were lessons in there, and she taught me a lot. She, in fact, taught the world a lot. And one day, I pray I'll be able to tell her story. But to move on, like I mentioned, you know, there's good people that is worth holding on to along your journey, that wants the best for you as well. Also, we could be a little too giving as people pleasers, where we think we're helping people, but then we come to realize we've given more to others than we've given to ourselves. And that's where I had to realize a lot of things, and a lot of clarity was coming to me more and more as I reflected over, you know, these last few weeks. I hope you guys were inspired. Please subscribe to Jocelyn's Divine Purpose on YouTube. Like, comment, and feel free to share. Thank you.